Hey, good morning everybody. This is Steve from the Worley Bugger. It is March 30th, 2023 here in the middle farmlands out at Reinhardt Park. Just gonna give you our current river report for the week here. River, as you can see, is in beautiful condition for fishing. Got overcast, little breezy today. Got those famous Kittitas County spring winds starting to appear, so always makes it a little more challenging when we get wind in the 20 plus mile per hour. But it's not bad right here. You know, the main thing is look for corners, you know, lots of trees on the river in certain sections, you know, that'll provide cover. Although they don't have a whole lot of leaves on them yet, they still provide good, adequate cover from some wind. You never get out of all of it, but makes it a little bit easier on the rower and quite a bit easier on the fisherman, so keep that in mind. But mixed reviews really kind of coming in to the pro shop from people fishing, some good, some bad. I think one thing is you have to remember, you know, with the Yakima, it's really like a lot of rivers, it's split into 4 sections, where we have the upper river, the headwaters, the Clay Elm section of the river, the farmlands, the lower canyon. All 4 of them sections all fish differently, especially the upper river. So you can't really fish the upper river like you would the lower canyon, and vice versa. So you have to really be versatile, get to know a piece of water. So one section that might fish good for you, you know, if you adventure out and fish another section, might not fish quite so well. But some days you're working a little bit harder, for sure. I mean, we've experienced that too as professional guides. And really what's dictating the fishing and how good it can be, one thing actually is, you know, is the weather, for sure. I mean, we're still stuck here in, you know, late winter. It's not, I wouldn't consider spring yet. I mean, we're still having, you know, nighttime lows well below the freezing level at the end of March. You know, and the highest recorded temperature maybe that we've had so far, daytime high, is 60, maybe 61. So what's really affecting the fishing is, you know, how cold it gets at night and how warm it warms up the next day. So, you know, definitely, you know, if it stays above the freezing level at night, the fishing is much better the next day early. If it dips below the freezing level, then fishing's a little bit slow in the morning to get going, but then picks up in the afternoon. And of course, you know, the squalls are going full bore now. We are in squalla season. So lots of squalls around, and remember, they've been around for a couple of weeks now, so you don't need to actually see them to be fishing them. The fish recognize them now as a food form on the water, so you can kind of, whether you're wade fishing or you know, fishing from a boat, you can scan the water if you don't see fish rising, you know, with a squall pattern, you know, and typically find pretty good results. Also great hatches of blue wings, especially in the upper river. Just been really good days, especially with these overcast days. Really, really good. And starting to get into that March brown period too, mayfly. So got kind of the spring trifecta going on. With stoneflies and 2 mayflies, so, and then the midges. So plenty of food around now for the fish to eat. You walk this bank right here, flip over rocks, there's just midges everywhere. So you might think that not a staple for river trout, but absolutely. April, big month for huge midge clusters that'll form on the river, especially when it's low, like it is. This colder weather that we have going on, most likely going to see some big midge clusters through the month of April. It's pretty fun to fish. And make it a little more challenging, you know, in fly selection throughout the day, depending on the section of river that you're fishing. But, you know, looking at the extended forecast, it looks like our river's going to stay in beautiful fishing shape. Over the next week to 10 days, which is great for spring. We don't always have that. A lot of people always ask me, like, well, when do they start ramping up the water? Well, they'll start ramping irrigation water in April, but that water goes into the canals and into the ditches. They start filling those from Lake Easton and from Cochise, where the river volume will continue to stay low. And then local irrigators will start drawing from the canals, start pulling water from the canals instead of from the river. The river won't ramp up usually until, you know, until the demand is there. And that's usually in June when we start seeing, you know, warmer temperatures, you know, much warmer. So it's all by, you know, demand for irrigators on when the water increases. But that's typically about mid-June, so you can count on. But, you know, we'll see big fluctuations, you know, as, you know, our snowpack in the Cascades is still good. Those mountains are, you know, holding a lot of snow, you know, in the high elevations, and we're going to get more up there. So it warms up, we get snow, we get rain on top of that. You know, it's all going to come down via the big tributaries like the Teanaway, Big Creek, the Tanum, Menashtash, Walk. All those are going to feed in, you know, naturally occurring runoff to the river, which is going to drive up river flow. You know, and then that creates, you know, it can create unruly conditions. It just depends on the amount of volume of water we get at one time. Anything between like 800 and 1,000 cubic feet is a lot of water for the river, you know, to come up naturally, you know, like say within a few hours or overnight. A couple hundred CFS is not really a huge bump in the river. So, but keep an eye on those gauging stations. That'll really tell you a lot. You want to learn about the river and its flow structures. So, but as you can see, river's in great shape. Should be great for the weekend. It's nice right here, beautiful, crystal clear. Yeah, call the pro shop if you guys have any questions. We can help you. Love to have you. It's starting to get staffed up again at the Worley Bugger, so we'll new horizons for us in 2023. So look forward to seeing everybody. and have a great weekend.